they're really clean, you could disassemble them. We usually don't, but if you do, line them up in the right order, because sometimes some of us get confused of what part went where. And notice I said some of us. That's why I try to line things up in a particular order of how I took it off. You could take it off, and then there's tension locks, and you want your pruners to open and close real smoothly. You don't want them to be squeeze and hold any. You want them to, but you don't want them to be too loose. So that's where that little, oh, I'm using my fingers instead of my pointer. That little device locks it in to the tension that's best for your hands and for your pruners. So you could take it apart and adjust it that way. And now you're ready to sharpen. Wipe it off, clean off all the debris that was left. Handles too, get it real clean. And before and after of the blade, and you're not, we're looking at the inside surface. That's the inside surface. That's the surface you don't want to sharpen. Don't ever sharpen the inside surface of a blade. It needs to go smooth up against its support, this blade. If there's a gap, even a little gap, it won't cut well. And that's what happens. You want nice, smooth cuts, sharp cuts, not this type of cut that it's a bad blade that just won't work. Those poor cuts are much more prone to fungal and insect problems. So sharpen only the beveled edge, the edge we showed you on the, and it's on the outer surface of the blade. Inner surface, outer surface. When it was dirty, the beveled edge was quite visible because it was the shiniest part. It was the most used piece. It has lots of little nicks, dust, dull spots. When you sharpen, you smooth those out, and it will mean less friction and less work for a better cut. And then that's the blade close up. We use a honing stone with honing stone oil. We find them in hardware stores or online usually. The real small honing stone is really nice for the hand pruners, but there are other devices that can sharpen that you use. So we put quite a bit of oil on it, not a ton, but as you work it, it will float away. And you can, if you look close, you could see the grooves of where Janet has been using this honing stone, how much it's been used. And then you start to sharpen the blade with the honing stone, and you get it right on the angle that bevel is. And you start at the back of the blade, not the tip, back of the blade, the base, and along the beveled edge, stroke in one direction from base to tip. Don't go back down. Base to tip, go back base to tip. We do about 50 strokes and then check it. Sounds like a lot, but oftentimes you have to do more. And you have to be at the right angle. That angle makes it really nice. You don't want to be too much leaning, so you're taking too much of the blade off and you start to lose blade. And you just move toward the tip in a continuous motion. You try not to pause. And you could do it slow, you could do it fast. You'll learn how to do it the best yourself. You can see it's hard to get it all the way back into this end. And that's a lot of your pruning. You need to make to get all the way back in the end. So try to get that gap right there. Try to really get into that part of the blade to make sure it's sharp. And the powder there is the honing stone material plus metal burrs that came off that wore off the blade. And make sure there's no burrs on that inside part either. Burrs there could scratch the cutting edge. And hone only the top. Don't take off any metal. Take it very easy. And there's the blade when we're done sharpening it. It's pretty smooth. It's still got some nicks in it. You're not going to take all the nicks out, but it's significantly better than when we started. And those pruners worked well. And remember the bandages. They work very easily now, and you could easily cut your fingers while you're working. So wear the gloves, protect yourself. Remember again, if you found this workshop helpful, we do webinars and talk to people every Saturday, every Friday night, except for on our webinar nights, before our webinars on Saturday.